It was a male, and he was quite elderly, actually. And he nodded to me that he needed my help. As I was waiting to turn out onto this main road, kind of just stopped right there. All the cars were going by, and I was just looking out, across the fields, and I noticed an individual out there. At the time, I couldn't tell age, even male or female. They were that far away from me. But I saw that there was a person, and they had a large animal, which I could identify as a dog with them. There was a break for me to go, and I pulled my phone out, and I called 911. And I just led them, I said, I'm not sure who this is, but there's an individual. I gave them, it was Liberty Park. There's a dog park, as I mentioned, right next to it. I gave them my location, and I told them that there's an individual who had passed out in the field and that I need help. I was able to go ahead and pull into the dog park then, and the individual, he was able to stand up, but he was still really far away. And I asked him, I said, sir, do you need my help? Mr. Hughes' condition, at the time that I found him, you could tell his clothes were kind of soggy because he had been laying in the snow for a while. His face was very red. He was very shaky. He had long hair, so his hair was wet. Days later, I found out from paramedics that he was close to hypothermia and that he was already showing the first signs of it. The first thing I just felt compelled to do was tell him my name and then ask what his was. So we just gave first names, and then he said, and this was just so weird because he didn't say, like, I need warmth, I need help right now. The first thing he just confided to tell me, he said, I've been laying here for close to 45 minutes and no one stopped to help me. So I held him real tight, and then by then the police officer was able to run across the field all the way out to us. So we walked the length of the field all arm in arm, and we had him, and his dog followed right behind. The ambulance and first responders pulled up, and the medics kind of waited there with the cot. After I left Mr. Hughes, in the rightful hands of the first responders and what have you, and all the medics, I got in my car. When I pulled back out and I started going to work, the first thing I did, I just started crying. So I cried, and I needed to hear my mom's voice for some reason. So I called her immediately, and I told her what happened. And it would break my heart, honestly, if someone I loved or deeply cared about was on the ground for more than 1 second.